We are. We got 10 minutes.
Let's do it then. All right, I'll go ahead and open the meeting, and as always, we'll start out with a word of prayer.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you this evening, and I just ask that you be with the families in Floyd County right now that's hurting through this tragedy. I just ask that you give them comfort and strength as they go over these next few days and months, and just ask that you give them grace and touch them. Be with us as we go over this public hearing. Just give us wisdom as we make decisions for the county. Thank you for the much needed rain that we received today. We give you honor and praise in everything that you do for us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. What you do, pledge, Marshall?
Already. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty. Bitch, you can check our quorum.
Sure. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Gonna take our quorum. Please note, Ms. Cookenbook is present remotely, so I will start with her. Ms. Cookenbook? Here. Mr. Phillips?
Here.
Mr. Cox?
Here.
Mr. Booth?
Here.
And Mr. Terman.
Here.
Did I conquer the delay?
You did, actually.
Yes.
With that, I'll take approval of the agenda. Is there any additions to it? Any deletions or anything? Alrighty.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Alrighty.
I'll second.
Motion second, call roll.
Alright, on the motion to approve the agenda as presented. Mr. Booth?
Yes.
Ms. Cookenbook?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yeah.
And Mr. Terman.
Yes.
Okay.
With that, we'll move on to our public hearing for our FY27 proposed tax or any other business that's necessary.
No.
No speakers. Alrighty. You wanna give us an overview?
Sure. Right now, the county, I believe it, put it in, everything has been, advertised, and the only thing that we are, proposing of change is the real estate tax to increase from 0.44 to 0.46. The budget that is presently, will be the public hearing on the 26th. Reflects it minimally, if anything, and with everything up in the air, especially with the schools, which is another conversation if I can as other business. You know, it pretty much safeguards, you know, the budget, especially within the school line item, to be able to, you know, ensure teachers and safety in school buses and things of that nature. So, one of the questions I had is, I got an email, if I may, from Dr. Cromer, and I'm not sure how you wanna do this or how this, cause it kinda ties in, because state has not come down with a budget, Commonwealth has not come down with a budget, so everything is still tentative, up in the air and proposed. They're still the same, nothing new has come of, we're not gonna do this or we're gonna add this, so everything has remained the same, but you know how that can change. But you guys know better than I, she has to move forward with contracts. And I guess my question for the board is, moving forward, prior to the budget hearing, is there a safeguard with the school line item so she could move forward with proposed salaries, starting salaries, and of that nature to be able to advertise? I think in the past, they've had to kind of leave that open and, you know, I know conversations of, you know, we weren't able to kind of get people because they didn't know. So,
Yeah, they were pretty tight
Well,
timeline on that.
I'll speak for
Gotta turn
myself,
around now.
if I can get the ball rolling.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that's what she's doing. I'm comfortable leaving, it, you know, letting them know that we're leaving their portion the same in the budget.
Right.
I haven't heard any of us talk about going back and cutting the school contribution. But that's just my 2 cents. That way they can move forward with their contracts.
Yeah, we've had this come up before, and it's never a comfortable position. I think that we're pretty confident that, the monies are gonna come to us, that at least for salaries, I think we could probably do that, and we would I just hate for her to wait, cause I know the last couple of times we've had to do this, the pool becomes smaller of the candidates that they have to choose from.
it's true.
And I hate to handicap our division with that, so, but at the same time, I kind of weigh out, I mean, are we gonna get all the money we're supposed to get? And I can't imagine that we won't, so I would probably be in favor of moving on.
Well, let me clarify, what I'm saying is verifying or moving on with is the salary part, not
Correct.
any of the other. It's not saying that they are supposed to have another additional 100,000 coming for instruction that we're gonna pick it up. I'm just talking about the salary part so they can move forward with their contracts.
Yeah,
just
if
want to
that's,
clear
if
that.
that's something we can do, I'm for that, agreed.
I have no problem with it.
I don't have a problem with moving on with the salary thing.
Okay.
Cause we gotta have teachers.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Yeah,
I appreciate that, so if it's
who
That's
else shook
probably,
their heads? I didn't see.
everybody, all 5 of you are in agreement.
and I mean,
Okay.
we can't really do anything formal with the motion because we hadn't had the budget hearing.
No, it
but-
was just a consensus
but that's
enough to be able to articulate that the board was comfortable with committing to the salary portion of the budget for her to move forward in contractual, you know, with, you know, increase and adjusting the starting salary. So, no, I won't
Yeah.
articulate that, just salaries. So thank you. So-
Excellent.
And I think any conversations that I have had verbally with the proposed budget has been received very well, so.
Good.
Hopefully nothing happens that'll change that. Thank you.
yeah, I don't even think Richmond's even set a date to even,
Not even to
Talk
have the
about it.
conversation, nope.
Unbelievable.
I usually go on twice a day, you know, to see if anything,
Yeah.
even if it's no,
yeah,
you know,
right, yeah.
so.
Of course,
I
we
would.
played this game for the last, 3 years with
For
them?
Yeah, I
longer,
remember
yeah.
last year was the skinny budget
Right,
that had
Yeah.
part of the caboose
Yeah.
budget at the
Yeah.
end, which were,
Yep,
that's what we discussed with the 2% bonus.
Yeah.
Loose is one way to say it.
Yes. Someone had a sense of humor.
yeah,
Um,
somebody did.
So I was talking, you know, trying to articulate or trying to come up with maybe a per penny, but it's just too challenging right now with the weight of how the discounts play into it. So in the percentage, so I don't wanna put anything out there that's not nearly accurate, you know,
But we should have all that cleared up by our budget hearing, I would think. They should
Well-
be able to.
Yeah, oh yeah, it should be fairly soon after that, once whatever your decision is on the tax rate, after that, and I can move that forward, then they start moving, and I should be able to get that before the public hearing on the 26th.
I think, the treasurer explained it on social media during night, just, she did a great job
Good,
putting it out there.
I didn't see
Somebody
that.
was questioning, why they hadn't got tax tickets yet.
Right.
It's really early yet, but
Yeah.
she explained to them what the process was. So I haven't
Right.
heard anything else after that.
Right, of course.
What time is the public hearing on the 26th again, 6:30
Yes.
or 6?
Hold up,
One moment, please.
one moment, please. Stand by. Cue the music.
And Dallas, no
Sorry.
problem. I got 6 P.M.
I think you're right, I
Public
think
hearing
it's 6.
6:30
Oh,
to 7.
That's on 27th,
Okay.
and not the
26th.
26th.
Oh,
No,
I was looking
26th.
26th, I'm sorry.
Because normally we would start at 7.
No,
Yeah, it's on
Six.
26th.
yeah,
Right.
26th,
Yeah,
yeah.
so we start
So we're
the
having a,
public hearing 6:30 to
we're having
7
a public
and then
hearing on Monday, then our meeting on
Regular meeting.
Tuesday.
When is the,
the public hearing is the 26th, which is a Tuesday. It's the same day as your regular meeting,
yeah,
which would normally start
on
at
the
7.
evening?
And I had 6 for some reason.
I think we were talking 5:30 and 6, then, oh no, 7, and then we met down the middle.
In the middle.
It said 6:30.
Oh, okay.
And let me verify what the ad went out.
I better change that, yeah. That's on the
Yeah,
26th.
that'd be good.
The regular board meeting.
It'll change everything right there.
At 6:30.
Yeah, it sure would. Hey, Danny,
Ain't no wonder, I'm on the wrong calendar.
when we're like this while Kim is
No wonder
investigating,
I'm a day behind.
can you pull the laptop so I can see my fellow board members?
Yeah.
Not that I don't wanna look at Kim the whole time, but.
Oh, no, I'm fine.
How about that?
It's all on the same night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Walter's
It does
still a
say
little
6:30
out
in
of.
the ad.
That's good.
The ad says
Got his hand, there we, that's
6:30.
perfect.
6:30.
So
All
you
right.
can think about this for
Tuesday, the
tomorrow.
26th.
I
6:30.
like my mountain background, nice.
That's good.
6:30 on the 26th.
Okay.
6:30 on the 26th.
Yep.
Bingo.
Start 6:30, do that, and then roll into our regular board meeting.
There you go.
We need to wait till tomorrow, or?
To,
Alright, between now
I
and
have it as
tomorrow
an
morning at
action item.
8:30,
I
I'll
have
figure out how
tomorrow,
to
but
do my
no.
earbuds.
Do we need to close the public hearing to do it first?
Mhm.
Close the public hearing.
So you
Did a gentleman walk in before?
Yes, he's still sitting here.
Close the public
We do
hearing.
have
I'll go
one
get the
audience
tax
member.
levy here tonight.
Oh, okay.
See what else you got.
That's it.
You don't have anything else? Anybody got anything? Alrighty,
I
so
don't believe so.
means there's no one to speak, and I'll go ahead and close the public hearing.
And if you,
And I believe that's the first time in 15 years we've never had anybody speak.
it's rare. If you're prepared, I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve the 46-cent real estate rate for the next year. Is there anything else we have to do other than that?
Everything else is administrative. I mean, you can say forward, you know, like,
We can't go higher, but I
You know-
guess we could go lower, but I think a 2 cent gives us a cushion right now since we don't know what the state's doing. If it wasn't for that, I might be reluctant, but that's my motion, go ahead with the 46 cent.
That would sort of help Missy out and Lisa too.
Get their pay.
yeah, I did have it as an opportunity for tomorrow's, you know, budget in the event that you wanted to.
That was just
I'll
we had a
second.
date. I don't think we had a motion.
I've got some people that's complaining about the 2%, so I mean, you know,
Motion and second. You got some
Discussion.
complaining?
yeah,
I wish they were keen. So, you know,
y'all don't have any complaining about it?
I haven't heard a word.
I had one
haven't
question,
heard
me was, they were looking at what was going on in surrounding counties,
Uh-huh.
and there was, are y'all sure that's enough? I said, yes. I said, we've got
Well,
the,
I mean, you know, I know a lot of that was brought up about the surrounding counties going higher than what we are, but still 2%, I mean,
For
2 cents,
2
2 cents, excuse me. I mean, I apologize for that, but 2 cents, I mean, that's still a lot, you know, to go up. Especially, I mean, you know, us increasing the county salaries by what we have, I mean, you know, then turn around and charge a 2 cent tax on the real estate to raise that up that much more. I mean, you know, that's what's gonna upset the people here in Floyd County. I mean, you know, that's the way I look at it. I mean, you know, we all got to live with the people in our districts. So, that's just my opinion.
I mean, it's a tough decision. I mean, you know, it's always a tough decision.
Well, you
Which
know,
our largest employer is the Floyd County School System, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
but I made my wishes known early on that I wasn't gonna vote for a tax increase this year. But then after our budget meetings and the county administrator explained to us what was gonna happen, maybe not this year, but the next year, if we don't do it, then next year we could probably be looking at 5 cent tax increase
or more.
or more. And then after the school superintendent, which me and her's always been, and I think all of us have been on the same page when it comes to school buses. At least this year with a tax increase that, you know, we can help get some new buses, you know, because like we always said, we're hauling our greatest commodity up and down the road every day, and I want something safe, you know. And I've seen the condition of some of these school buses, and they definitely need to be changed. So, you know, with what I heard the last meeting, then, you know, I had to bite the bullet and say that, you know, we need to go up at least 2 cents on it. And I know to a lot of people, 2 cents is a lot when they're on a fixed income.
It is.
Anyone else?
That's correct.
Linda?
You know, I've never been one for raising taxes, and given our circumstances with what we find ourselves with, I know that it's hard on everyone, but if we're going to stay competitive, if we're going to continue to provide the services that our countyans have come to expect through our EMS department, and, you know, I was thinking the other day, we're between a rock and a hard place, because if we got to a point where we couldn't do something or we couldn't fund something, we'd have people saying, well, why didn't you do what you should have done when you could have done it, and it would have been better off for us. And so I'm of the opinion, with a couple of the folks that I have heard from in my district, that, you know, there are a few that don't want to see a tax increase. They don't ever want to see a tax increase, but it is important and imperative that we stay ahead of the curve and continue to manage wisely what we bring in. You know, we will reassess and bring property costs down. You know, we couldn't help but do it when we did it, and we had to get it done. And I don't want to blame COVID on it, but it did kind of sort of wreck the calendar of our normal assessments. And I think if we get back on the right track, we can move from there. So I'm generally not in favor. I know sometimes it's the chairman has probably wondered, what is she doing? But I think this is the year that we need to, and be prepared for what may lie ahead, and still fiscally manage and not be, spend wisely, but not have reserves to do that.
And I don't know if this if I may, I don't know if this takes any solace, but in 25-26 fiscal year, Floyd County, Buchanan County was lower. Other than Buchanan and Arlington, which I can't, and then Franklin County and Floyd. The three lowest counties as far as per penny. Lowest taxes, so tax rate. It's not that we're not conscious of it or, in competition.
Are they bedroom communities like we are?
I'm sorry?
Are they bedroom communities like we are?
Well, Franklin
I'm-
County,
yeah.
Franklin County, that's why I kinda negated Arlington, like, I don't, you can't.
Take him off the table.
Yeah, so, and then Culpeper, is. So,
Same way
kind
with
of right,
Rappahannock.
yep,
Yeah, but you can't even, excuse me if I may, you can't even judge any of the counties like Culpeper that have data centers in them, because their rates are so much lower because they're bringing in so much more money.
don't know if
That's
they
not
are.
an apples to apples comparison.
was Culpeper data center 100% active?
Yeah, Culpeper has a lot of them. Yep, they sure do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not loud, but it's right next door. And then Buchanan is that's just coal country, up top there, next to West Virginia. And then Franklin had to go up 5 cents
Mhm.
this year.
Yeah, so surrounding is 5 cents, 6 cents, Montgomery,
Montgomery County was what, 5 or 6 cents?
6 cents.
6 cents.
Yeah.
Roanoke County's $1.06.
Yes.
Yeah,
Carroll, wasn't his 5 cents?
and what was they were still working, last I heard, they were 1.6 million short on their school system.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Who's
So,
that? Franklin?
Carroll,
Roanoke,
no, Carroll
Roanoke.
County,
Yeah, Roanoke is.
Carroll
Yeah.
County's
Yeah.
in, but they were in a
buying too.
bind as well. I spoke to the county administrator on something else.
Would they raise theirs this year?
They hadn't yet.
They did.
Yeah.
No,
They still
that I
argue.
know of, that I know of.
Well-
Last I know, Dave was still arguing.
Yeah, and they still arguing over zoning and,
And the
And the
school,
data centers.
the school stuff, so,
but at the end of the day, I asked my granddaughter Sunday how much their starting salary was for a new teacher. It was $50,000.
where?
Carol,
Oh, yes.
So, our teachers, our law enforcement, our EMS, none of them are making anywhere near what they could go to Montgomery, Carroll, Roanoke, or anywhere else and work. But they are here because they love Floyd and they wanna be here. So we need to take care of them.
I understand what you're saying, but Carroll, Montgomery, Roanoke County, all three of those have got a lot bigger population to draw from for their salaries too. I mean, unlike us and some of the smaller counties around. I mean, I understand we need to pay our teachers more, but with that said, we still, we're a bedroom community. Most of them work either
And
Carroll County, Roanoke County, or Montgomery County, or
Trying to fix
Rafford,
that too.
Pulaski. I mean, and then bring their money back in here, so I mean,
But you gotta realize too, that we've been in this situation for years.
Mhm.
We will be in it for a few more years because we get more retirees than we get working families. And so somewhere along the line, if we don't move it a little bit at a time, we're gonna have a huge tax increase. You know, I hate to say that, cause
My
I was against
And
it too.
My first spring back in '92, we raised it 10 cents.
For all purposes, the way I sort of see it, for all purposes, Montgomery, Carroll, Roanoke, you know, their citizens are still being taxed $1.06, up near 80 cents. What's Carroll? I don't know what Carroll is.
Don't know yet.
They don't know yet. They still-
But maybe it's 70 cents right now, but they're all still being taxed that. While they still have all these other business revenue sources that Floyd doesn't have. So the way that I sort of see that is, we don't have the opportunity to collect that revenue like Carroll, Montgomery, and Roanoke does from these businesses. And I like that because I like Floyd the way it is. But for us to be able to only be at 44, 46 cents, while not capturing those other large revenues from those businesses, I think says a lot for how the county is managing its money. Because these other places have those big revenue streams and still are taxing their citizens $1.06. So, you know, you gotta get the revenue somehow. It don't just show up, and we gotta provide the services, and
Well,
it's definitely a tough decision, and I never like this time of year, but.
right. Well, I mean, you know, I've even heard in the past area where, you know, companies wanted to come in here, but
49 cents.
the board decided that they didn't want them in here. So,
Our
I mean, you know, I'm not
county's
saying that
49
they
cents.
had,
Whoa.
I can tell you, I've been on this board off and on since '92. No board I served with told anybody not to come.
Right.
Now, there's a couple that, ended up locating in one in Radford, one down in Elliston. After they received letters from private individual groups in the county that said they didn't want them. But the one that ended up in Elliston, I was chairman of the board when they came. And the last thing their vice president said to me when they got in the vehicle, well, would you be willing to, this is at the Commerce Center after going down there and looking. Well, we were looking at a 20-acre site and they said, well, would you be willing to sell 42? I said, let me go back to my board, we'll sell you the whole place if you want it. Word got out. And that company received a letter, rather nasty letter from, and they ended up down at the end of Elliston down there. So.
And that's the balance with here in Floyd, right? Is if one of those companies approached the county, I would venture to say the majority of the citizens would say, hey, I prefer not to see that kind of stuff in the county. You know, they want it to stay the way that it is.
They were a bigger employer, and at the time, we had already went through the factories closing, which had such a major impact. That's why one of the reasons you'll see me really jumping up and down when we get somebody talking about 25 to 50 employees. That's it's referred to as the cottage industry. That's what I'm looking for. I'd rather have 5 of them that had 20 employees than to have 100. But I'm not gonna turn that 100 away, but simply because we went through it, when NAFTA went through, it impacted so badly here. I mean, we had a terrible time there. We got Russell Corporation, thanks to Congressman Boucher. They came in, set up in the Cross Creek building where Crenshaw's at now. They were looking at expanding their business. That was at the beginning of the computer wave. They couldn't get anybody, so they ended up shutting down, going back to, I think they were out of Alabama. But they couldn't hire, I mean, we set it up with the school superintendent at the time and asked him to let them come over and make presentations. This is before they had those job days, what do they call it? You know, they have different companies come in on
Like job fairs.
job fairs. This is before they ever had job fairs here. And he agreed and they set it up. Never got a single person interested.
We built a big building over there for this company that had already said that they wanted to come here. And I guess that was that mobile home place, was gonna build mobile homes here and everything. We built the building, I mean, we adjusted that building, cut off here and moved there so that they would have truck parking. But they hadn't done their due diligence and we get the building and they say, well, we can't use it because it's too hard to get the mobile homes we build to Route 8 and 221.
Yeah.
Because the roads, and it would cost us, God only knows how many $1 million to build roads to.
That's why I mentioned here a while back about us taking a strong look at 615 and the secondary road plan.
Well, we lucked out there, we had, Rudina and them had another company was willing to come in and take half the
Right.
building and then, somebody else took the other half. So we dodged the bullet there, but, with our roads and stuff like that, we can't get this big industry that people get.
And we rolled the dice with the HMV building there, what was the Dex building.
Mhm.
We were, from what I understood, and this is mostly goes to our attorneys, we were the only company here in Southwest Virginia that dealt with that particular outfit that got what they signed up for. Now, the county did have to buy it back, but it bought it at a preset reasonable price. And it was available for another company here to expand into.
Mhm.
And I've heard all through the year, all through my time about, oh, the board turned this way, the board turned that way. Now, I do remember one time that the board did turn away a call center that turned out not to be on the up and up. That's the only thing I've been aware of since '92 that was actually turned away. We had some people that was dealing with them lithium batteries that we entertained, we didn't go overboard with because of the waste byproducts and stuff off that is so volatile. I mean, we didn't turn them away, but we didn't make them no great offer. So yeah, I don't know how you'd classify that, but, I'm not aware of the board just flat out telling anybody no. And I know that's out in the public, and some people feel good spreading that, and you're not gonna change that. But most of the time I run into it is, there's a certain amount of people like to stick their thumb in their lapel and say, look what I did. And they weren't a part of any of this stuff that's gone on for a long time, and they've the county's not doing anything. From the pandemic on, no, we didn't bring a lot of new people in, but we were trying to secure what was here and keep them from shutting down. A lot of locations lost a lot of business and a lot of industry during that pandemic because it just shut down and never came back.
I know that.
And our staff, Ladina and our staff, and Kim had something to do with that too. I'm not aware, it hadn't been brought to my attention any single company that was operating here that had to shut down and they left, it didn't open back up. Now, there may be some, but, you've got so many businesses and homes and stuff, but we've got through that, and that's why we, when we were talking, that we put an additional $10,000 into that marketing to start reaching out more. I'm not saying we walk away from the existing businesses, but let's start reaching out. We've got some developable property over. Every time I've been on the board, we built a shell building, they're sitting with occupants in it.
If I may add, to add to the discussion you just had about the pandemic, one of the things that was gratifying for our community is our businesses, actually, many of them thrived and were able to make a jump onto online platforms, and that was part of Ladina's staff and our tourism staff and everybody working so hard together to maintain what we have. The idea of trying to bring in more employers and such is a very hard balance. I don't know that the county could absorb another sized employer like H&V. So I think, as we've all stated, this idea between the 20 to 50 to 75, maybe 100 people businesses are what we should look for and try and cultivate in our community. We have so many success stories. And I think if we really looked at things, there are more retirees now in Floyd. It's not so much a bedroom community anymore as you're sort of saying it. It's been this way forever. Our biggest employers outside of the county are Virginia Tech, used to be Federal Mogul. It was Inland Motors in Radford. It was Radford University. Some of these places have had our countyans working there for a good long while, and many of them are retiring. And while we are selling homes to families, and we're seeing those kinds of folks coming in, more often than not, people are looking to Floyd as being a great place to kind of spend the rest of their lives in a quiet, reflective place that has services that they like, and it's just a different kind of place, like no other. But we do have to pay for it, and I just think we have to be responsible with how we're pursuing things. We're not. We're not doing things willy-nilly. We're trying to maintain a level of services that is needed for now 16,000 people, and it takes more people to do that job.
With what you said there, we still have a lot of citizens employed, still working outside the county though. You're calling it a retirement. But we got people going to Volvo, we got people at the hospitals over in Radford, we got citizens going to Lewis Gale over at Blacksburg, we got people at Corning, we got people at Moog, we got people at Steel Dynamics in Roanoke, we got them at the hospitals in Roanoke, Lewis Gale, and also Korean. Railroad down there, they used to be down there working at the railroad. I'm sure there's still some down there. They're all in different places down through there that they're still working outside of Floyd County.
Walter, did you work out of the county too?
I did, ma'am, yes.
Yeah, so,
60-some percent of our workforce drives out of county.
Yeah, and you worked at I think I heard you say you worked at Roanoke Steel for a little while, and, it's just the nature of what we have. We're trying as best we can to bring in more industry, but it's just where we're at. You're not going to be able to bring in another H&B. I don't think we have the room for it.
And they don't have people knocking on the door trying to get in either.
No,
Well, and
not those
also
size businesses.
70% of the workforce in, say, 2008, well, we're right at probably 69 to 68% now. But looking at it just on percentage, you're saying, all right, we're maintaining. But you gotta look, you mentioned it, the retirees. What is the actual numbers of the outgoing workforce? Those numbers are dwindling because of retirement. But still, by the overall workforce, our biggest workforce areas in this county is still agriculture, horticulture, that's our biggest one.
Yep. That's homegrown.
I reckon what I'm really trying to say is, if we had stuff here for graduating students up here at the high school, a lot of them would stay here in Floyd County.
That's
So
what
is
we're
it
trying.
employment or housing?
Well,
Well, work of somewhere to work and housing.
I think that we made a stride in that just with several fabrication shops. I can name 3.
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
I can name 3 right off the bat, and my son is graduating high school next week, and he's already picked up a spot at one of those doing shop work and welding and so forth. So he is a product of the CDC, the vocational training, CCDC, that got a job within the county. So I'm very happy about that.
That's the reason we stuck
Yeah,
our
my son
neck
did
out
the
and
same
built that
thing.
thing.
So And I'm not saying that didn't really take place when I graduated, 25 years ago.
Mhm.
But I think because of that CCDC building, we have began making a push back through there, but we're just now seeing the benefits of that from when that was completed, back in 2015 or 16 or something like that. So, we're just now reaping the reward for that investment of the vocational building.
Well, and also, a lot of the ones of my graduating class and the ones in that general time period are the contractors and the people that you're seeing retiring now.
Yeah.
And the last few years, many of them that I talked to, the only reason they were able to stay in business was because they had family members working. There just wasn't a big push into that area. Now with this new CT building and the upgrades and the stuff to the classes there from the last I talked to Dr. Cromer, there is an uptick in children and students, or I should say young adults, not children, or youngsters, whatever you want to call them. They are moving into those categories now that they're more open. And it's not just welding, it's mechanics, it's carpentry, it's nursing,
Yeah.
culinary. The whole thing's starting to pick up, and I agree with you, we haven't seen the best benefit
We're
of
just now
that
reaping
yet.
the rewards, and I'll use this too. I seen this. The student who was doing the vocational trades at the CCDC and leaves on work release has a better hourly wage as a work release student than the teacher aide that's helping them at the high school during the school day. So we have trained our kids to be able to go out and make better money as a work release student, 15, 16, 17 years old, than what the teacher or teacher's aide is making at the school.
That's taught.
That's teaching.
Yeah.
So that right in itself says we're doing one thing right, and we've got employers that's taking those kids and helping them get jobs. But at the same time, we need to do a little bit better on the other end of things.
And I wanna bring up too, the school board has been very cooperative and agreeable in that say we bring in an industry and they're interested in some certain type of work, they're willing to incorporate the program into their school system to train, to get those people, to get those students trained in that direction to work in that facility.
Right.
And I think it's commendable, I think it's very farsighted for the school board to be looking at that. And it's been a joint effort, but anyway, I'll close the barn doors there. I'm not aware of any that we've run off.
I've been sitting here trying to remember, and I can't think of any
That
that
I've been
approached
involved
us that didn't leave a destructive footprint on the county that we discourage them not to be here.
I know it's all been entertained or listened to or even pondered of discussion, so.
And we've had a lot of closed session meetings, I think we had somebody that was coming in, and then through no fault of ours, they say, no, we found a better place in Pulaski.
Or they decided to go a different direction.
Yeah.
Now, there has been some of them through time.
We had that one other business that we furnished them a place to be, and they was talking about increasing. And one of the other county administrators went up there early one morning to see what all else they needed, and they was gone. They packed up during the night and left.
Yeah, they were gone just about overnight.
Yeah, and we lost a bunch of money there, so.
Carroll County's proposed 49 cents.
49.
Okay.
49.
Mr. Chairman,
What
we've had
was
enough
that, 49?
discussion. 49 is for Carol's settlement.
Oh.
Proposed right now,
If
yeah.
we've had enough discussion, I'd ask for the for the vote to be
Yeah, we
taken.
done got a motion in a
Yep.
second.
Okay, on the motion to approve the suggested tax rate of 46 cents from 44, Mr. Booth.
Yes.
Excuse me, that's for fiscal year 27. Thank you, Mr. Booth. Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Indian Valley's gonna vote no.
That's fine.
Ms. Cook and Book?
Turn my mic off. Yes.
I was like, oh.
I was worried there.
Yeah. Mr. Terman?
Yes.
Okay. And 46 cents, and I will move forward with the communication to the Commissioner of Revenue and the Treasurer. I will put that in writing, tomorrow, and they can move forward. So, thank you.
That was a good discussion there.
So.
Yeah, we need to, it's good. I mean, it's serious stuff what we do. I know I carry on and whatever, but, and stuff like this, it's very serious, it impacts, and for anybody listening, us board members do pay taxes too.
Yeah, actually, me and my wife was discussing that this evening. Figuring out who's gonna pay which half.
So,
So is there any other business
I
before the
don't have
board?
anything.
With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second it.
On a motion to adjourn, Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Cook and Book?
Yes.
Mr. Booth?
Yes.
And Mr. Terman?
Yes.
All right.
Cause I got a job.